Hello, it's time for Combat Patrol Carnage. We're into a new delivery, it's a new week, so that means a new issue. We're on issue 23, the first part of our Aeldari Guardians. So, going to be an interesting issue. So, we've got the build guide for the Guardians. We look at the different weapons of the Aeldari. We look at the different paths that they can take. We also take a more in-depth look at the Great Rift. We have a unit chart name for our Aeldari units. And then we have a tutorial all about how exactly to swear an oath of moment. So we're finally looking at faction abilities for our armies, despite the fact we've had the cards since issue 15. Another 10 issues down the road, but it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, we're looking at the oath of moment faction ability in the play article. It's kind of a easy one and done sort of setting up thing. It doesn't really tell you to play on, so it'll just be playing that one turn where we get to see the act of oath of moment being in effect. So still something to cover in the play articles at least. But yeah, we've got some awesome lore coming up, but first we're going to be building a couple of models. To do that, we're going to need frames. So these are the two frames we get in issue 23. We get the frame with all the bodies, heads, and the backs. And we also get the gun and pistol sprue as well, with the shuriken catapults for the Guardian defenders, and we've got the shuriken pistols and a couple of chain swords, plus the special weapons for the Storm Guardians that can be alternatively built from this kit. Now, as usual with these double issues, we don't get bases until issue 24, which brings us the final frame plus all the bases for the unit. So yeah, once I get that filmed, we'll be able to start building our Guardian squad. So before we hit the table, don't forget to do all the usual, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment down below. Now that we're in our third combat patrol, what units are you looking forward to the most from it? Definitely the Wraith Lord in this delivery, but I'm also looking forward to the Wraith Guard later on in the collection when we reach the end of these two patrols. It'd be interesting to see what they swap out in order to include them. I'm thinking perhaps one half the jet bikes, or maybe all of the jet bikes. Let's wait and see. Finally, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They've recently updated their stock for Combat Patrol to include every issue available. It is limited at the moment to one per customer through the online order portal, but if you want extras, drop them an email and they'll be able to order some extra copies of certain issues in when they become available. So yeah. They also stock quite a few other items, new and used models for your armies, painting supplies, and your gaming essentials as well. Check out warbay.shop, there's a link in the video description for you, and who knows, you might find your next hobby project at a bit of a discount. Right, let's head to the table and we'll start building our Guardian Defenders. Here we are then of issue 23. So we've got our frames for the Guardians. So this is the weapon frames. We've got all the different weapons that the Guardians can take, including the pistols and special weapons for the Storm Guardians. We've got all the different arms as well. So you've got the arm with the binoculars there. We've got the control arm for the weapon platform, and we've also got a grenade throwing arm, which seems to be kind of standard for most infantry kits. So yeah, nice lot of detail to add to our models. And on this sprue we have all the legs and torsos. So most are 3 components, some are 4. We've also got all the heads, so you've got bare heads, you've got helmeted heads with top knots for the Storm Guardians. You've got all the backpack details, you've got the more bare heads through the centre there, you've got all the helmeted heads there. And you've got a few extra details to add to your models as well. You've got some pistol pouches. And you've got some back antennae as well for the backpacks. So yeah, nice lot of heads. I'm definitely going to be using a mixture of heads, I think, throughout my models. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool. All right then, let's adjust the camera and we can have a quick flick through this before we bring in our tools and build our models. Into issue 23 we go. So first off, we have our build guide for our Storm Guardians. We have articles for the weapons of the Asuryani, paths of the Asuryani, as well as looking at the Great Rift. We also have a collect article for Aeldari unit names, so this will come in handy for next issue when we name our Guardian squad. And we look at faction abilities as we look at the Space Marines and their over moment, plus a nice in-depth tutorial on how to use that ability in game. So our build guide is pretty straightforward. It wants us to build all the different torso options first. Glue them to the bases. Once you've done that, it's simply a matter of adding heads, arms. So you've got pairs of arms, so making sure you only clip them out as and when you need them. Then we're on to building. So we've got this larger vein, which is for a unit leader. Guardians don't really have leaders, but it's nice to have one that can be a sort of associated as a leader. You've then got the weapon platform controller there, and a guy sort of just pointing out the enemy there as well. And the rest of the Guardians are just pretty much heads and arms. Then we got some extra accessories as well. So extra ammo clips, grenades, and pouches that can be glued on to all our different models. Finally, we got the weapon platform there, which we're just building the Star Cannon variant. But if you leave it unglued, you can easily put a pin through and swap between the different variants, which is what I'll be doing. But yeah, that's how we build our models. It doesn't mention here about leaving the base unattached, but make sure you do, as the paint guide does include painting the underneath detail of our weapon platform. Alright then, let's bring in our frames, bases, and we'll build a couple of models plus the weapon platform. So we've got my knife, my clippers, and my glue. Frames from this issue, the frame from the next issue for the weapon platform. And now it's time for us to start clipping out a model. So which one shall we do? I think I'll do one male, one female, just so we can do two different types of model. So let's see, parts 68, which needs legs 69, quite obviously, which is up there. Right, let's get those cleaned up, and then we can add the arms and the head. So we got the leg glue on, so a little bit of glue just in that bowl there. So that had to clean out my nozzle. Where was we? Or were we? Spot glue just there. Then we got a little nub just on the inside of the knee. It lines up nicely like so. Then we got two halves of torso to push together. Like so. We'll let that dry to one side while we build our second torso. So now as a male, let's pick out a female torso. So we'll go with... I think, which ones do I want to use for my unit champion? I think 61, so let's use 39. So gluing them together, just the same as the last one. Spot glue in there. Put our leg in place. And then run the glue around the edges of the body. And push the backpack into place. And there we go. So our first one should be dry, so let's bring the base back in. Spot glue on the feet. And just position it. Like so. And we can position our second model like so. So next up we need to cut out heads and arms. So bring in the heads frame. I think these two will just be basic helmeted troopers. So we got, for some reason, slightly different variants of helmet. So we'll just pick out two at random. There we go. Now we need pairs of arms. So I think we will do a grenade throwing trooper out of one of these. So 49 and 44. And then we'll go for a more basic sort of troopered arm. So 41 and 42. I think we'll double check the instructions. Yeah, 41 and 42. Sweet. So I'll get these all cleaned up and we can attach them to our models. Right, we can bring in our Guardian Defenders. So I think our female here will be our Grenade Chucker. So spotted blue on each arm. A little bit in the headwell. So grenade. Just goes in like so. We'll put the head in next. And then we got Shuriken Catapult at rest. And it falls off. There we go, there's our first trooper. And this one will be our basic Guardian Trooper. So blue, blue, and blue. We also need to put a bit of glue in the back of the hand. And we want to match up. But don't drop it. Like so, and then the head can go in just like that. There we go, our second Guardian ready. All what's left to do is build the weapon platform. So we want our large base and our weapon platform components. So we'll start with the base detail. So we get that glued and drying. There we go. Leave that like that. And you start assembling the rest of the weapon platform. So we want the two halves of the platform. Then we want the weapon mount and the weapon shield. Okay. And then for the star cannon, we want the ammo generator, or the plasma cells, and of course the star cannon itself. So we'll clean all these components up and we can get them glued together. So next we'll take the base and we want to run glue. Just double checking on the guide. Yeah, all the way around these thin edges here. And then we can lower it down, making sure these vents go into their position. There we go, and you see the vents come out on the other side of the platform. And we want to glue in our shield. Like so. You could, if you wanted, leave that separate as well, which I think I might do just to make things a little easier. Now for the star cannon, we need to put glue on the back here for the plasma cells. And then push them into place, like so. And then that sits just in there. That's it. On its own, it won't sit very flush or steadily, but put a pin in and that should hold it in place. And we just push it down to its base. And then we have one star cannon weapon platform. And that's how you build Aeldari Guardians. So up next we got our lore articles to go through. So we look at the different weapons of the Asuryani, the different paths, and we also take a look at the Great Rift. So that's it for issue 23 at the moment. Join me next time for our lore articles. And yeah, we'll eventually see these guys again back on camera, ready for their paint guide in issue 24. So I hope you'll join me for that, but until next time, all that's left for me to do is say thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.